What's up? Good morning. Welcome to Trading Live with Bubba. And again, unfortunately, there is not a lot going on. There's not a lot to trade right now. We had a little action yesterday with the tweets and the firing of Jerome Powell. But today we have very little. Our open trades that we put on the other day are all right there. They could be winners, they could be losers. None of them are solidly in the money and making us money, and none of them are clearly in trouble. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens tomorrow. The day trade we looked at the end of the day on Tuesday would have worked, but again, we weren't there, so we don't count that to anything. But as we look, maybe we'll get something here in crude oil. That's a potential. The NASDAQ, even though it's going straight up, there's no volume to it. So it's not like I really want to get overly involved in it. I think that, again, you have to, just make up your mind how active you want to be in a market that isn't very active. And by the way, we're trading September crude oil. Today started the rollover. You can trade August, but I'm showing a September chart. So again, just so you know, this is going to be pretty similar anyways, but be prepared. And of course, if you're a golf fan, you got the U.S. Open on now, or not the U.S. Open, the Open Championship right now. So at least because there's no trading, you've got something you can something to do. So in the meantime, crude will be most likely a trade here. And in fact, we can go look a little bit early right now. The stop on crude would be 66.38. 66.38. We do not have a trade as of yet, but could come on this bar. But 66.38. No trade yet. And of course, this is what we're waiting to see if we can get any action whatsoever. We can do something, but it's been a challenge. Like I said, during the crap yesterday, there were some shots, but again, I don't expect that. You got to be ready to go when those things happen, and they weren't there. There isn't enough of them, but certainly it looks like we're going to get a sale here. I have to wait till the bar closes, but looks like we're going to get it. And the stop is 66.38. And you can go, if you want to trade this trade, you can go ahead and make it 66.38. My stop in. Put my orders in to buy them back. Okay, so we're in this right now. We'll go back and see if there's anything else developing. Doesn't really look like it, but we'll see. Maybe the NASDAQ can push up far enough to give us a trade. Again, we need the volume to rise. The price is fine. The volume is not there. So there's no speed. There's no panic. There's no greed. There's no fear. There's nothing. It's just this market is just grinding. Okay. And of course, that's unfortunate, but that's what we have to trade the market we have. And obviously, unfortunately, not getting much to do here. So if we were really busy, I would take a lot closer look at the NASDAQ, but we're not very busy. So we are in the crude oil trade, and we're about even right now. Okay. No big deal. No big deal one or the other, which is always a problem, because when you see this move, you expect it either to come back down right away and give you the profit, or continue, give you a chance to add. The worst thing it can do is sit there sideways and do nothing, which is exactly what it's doing right now. But we'll go take a look at at our other stuff while we're waiting. I mean, the trade's not going to change. Our orders are working. Apple, again, still just stuck in the middle of a range. This is a pretty common through most of the markets right now. There's obviously there's always a few, but for the most part, we're just kind of in the grind. Okay. Which makes it much more challenging, makes it harder to want to trade. Let's just see if anything else. is developing here. No, nothing. Okay. Coin. Now, coin would be one. Again, I'd look at it, but again, I'm not overly excited to get involved in this market, as I said Tuesday. With the lack of activity, it kind of says to me, why should I want to get so overly involved here? It just there's not much of an edge into trading this right now. So again, I'm going to be much more conservative. Certainly, you could sell some put spreads in crowd if you wanted to do for either tomorrow or next week. That would be something that you could look at if you chose to do so. Again, personally, I'm not going to do that. I'm gonna be more passive, but of course, I'll be out tomorrow. I have surgery tomorrow, so I won't be around. So I don't want to start loading up on some positions. But crowd, I would certainly look at for probably next week. Let's say the 467.50, 465 for $1.05. I think that's a pretty good trade. Certainly one that I would look at. Our crude trade is slightly profitable. Nothing to get excited about, but again, I'm not thrilled with the overall action. So I'm just going to recommend you close it and take the small profit and forget about it. Again, this is the problem in slow markets. You got to make decisions. Your win rates go up, but the amount of money that you're making does not. Okay, which is a much bigger challenge and makes for a much bigger challenge. Now we are getting something here now in the NASDAQ. And so we closed it, and we closed it just in time. And that's what I was concerned about. But we may get another entry in crude oil as well. But right now we have a potential in the NASDAQ. But again, I think the blowback might be too great for the risk we would have to take. Our stop in the NASDAQ would be 23,269. It's not too bad. If you'd like to take the NASDAQ, I think it's a reasonable trade. 23,269 stop. And let's see what else is going on here. And crude did not give us another opportunity, so no trade. The NASDAQ is a little bit profitable right now. You should be out of one with a profit. And then you can go ahead and move your stop to break even. Okay. So that'll be... All right, so we're out. A couple of small profits. Listen, nothing I'm bragging about. Okay, nothing that I'm overly excited to brag about. If we can get another follow through, we want. I'm trading as much more conservatively. A, because I have you with me, and B, because it's just more prudent right now to be more on the conservative side of the market. Just because the action is very tough. This is a very hard market to trade. Okay, there's not enough swing. There's not enough true two-way action, and there's too slow. So you're not getting the quick retracement. Now you saw them yesterday. If you happened to be watching yesterday, you saw them after the announcements of Jerome Powell. The Trump trying to fire him. So you saw some big swings and some big volume, but since then we've seen virtually nothing. And again, it's always an issue to deal with. Again, the slower the conditions, the truly harder it is to make money. Okay. And once again, you can see that we're not getting the pullback on these sales. They're just going sideways. Okay. So at the end of the day, we have to, do what we do and wait for the better opportunities. We'll take the trades as they come, but we're going to be much quicker on pulling the trigger to get out, just because, again, the lack of activity. Now they may work out to be great trades that we didn't participate in, but I can't worry about that. I got to worry about my account size. I got to worry about my risk. And again, in these conditions, we can't be too aggressive. Okay. It's not prudent to do so. Okay. So crude, look at it. It looks like it's going way down, and we would have had 3-4 ticks in it, 5 ticks. So we already made that money, and we're gone. Okay, and that's something that we have to be aware of. Again, the situation around the markets, the circumstances in which we trade, we have to be aware of this and ready to go. And again, even if you miss one, it's never a big deal. Okay. In one trade is never going to make the difference in your trading career. So if you miss a trade, so what? Okay. There's nothing for you to worry about. Okay. A trade is a trade, and you're participating. And right now, the markets are not giving you that great opportunity to participate. Okay. Again, it goes back to what we'll call the lack of speed, the lack of movement. Okay. And of course, the lack of volume. So, we had news Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, which really created nothing and no activity, no action, because we did trade those live with my members. And, we had a couple of trades each day, but they were very risky and very tough. And that's the market we're dealing in right now. Trading is at a higher risk now because of the lack of movement. So we have to be patient enough to wait for it. Where are we at here? So we can check on a couple of others while we're waiting. Meta, okay, getting close to being selling some put spreads potentially. Google's got earnings next week, so I would just stay away from it altogether. IWM, again, really just nowhere really to be worried about. Microsoft, certainly you could sell call spreads here if you felt like it. Okay. MSTR, we have opened the other day. We're down right now on this trade, but certainly it could certainly come back. It's not that far away. It's a couple of bucks away, which in this stock is like 10 cents. Nugget, you could sell put spreads here if you wanted, right at that support level of 70. NVIDIA, which is one of the ones we have on up as well, is, again, we sold it right here. We're right again. The open trades we have are right about within reach of being profitable. Okay, they're also within reach of being a loss. Okay, but this is the very challenge of the actual market that we're trading right now. And you can see crude did not follow through to the downside. It popped right back. It held. So what did we give up? A couple of ticks. Again, I'd rather be out than exposed. That's always something that I look at. I'd rather be out of the market than exposed to it when it's like this. Okay. I'd rather be able to react if there's a crazy tweet or something that comes out versus anything else. And I think that's something that you have to remember. Okay. Remember, the markets are open 241 days a year. So you always have a chance to participate. And there's no shame in not trading and walking away and turning off the machine. Again, too many people have FOMO and think they're going to miss something. Okay. When the bottom line is, if we get real action, then we're not going to miss anything. Okay. Because if we get real action, that means we're going to have it day after day after day. Right now, I can't remember the last time we had a truly great trading day for everybody. Okay. And again, we're talking about day trading, not swing trading. But even, for me, even swing trading has been, sucky. There's just not enough activity. So it's hard to want to get involved. And when you don't get enough movement, if you look at the SPY, for example, we've only moved, in the last 5 weeks, 3%, 4%. It's not very much when you think about it. And it's all been just straight grind higher without any real sideways action. So again, it becomes more problematic when you have markets like this because they become a bigger challenge to trade. And, obviously, dull markets tend to grind higher. That is something that you should always remember because there's always money flowing in on the buy side. And you have a lack of participation right now in this market. You have a lack of participants, so hence the lack of volume. But certainly, again, if we get something, we'll be happy to take the trade. I just don't see much to do here at the moment. So let's just flip back, and as long as I had the S&P up, there's no trade in the S&P right now. The Qs, nothing right now. SMCI, you could sell call spreads if you chose. Again, I'm sitting pretty much on the sidelines right now. Okay. Square looks pretty solid, right up at the 200-day moving average. So you could certainly take a look there if that's something that interests you. And remember that I like to get 40 cents per dollar on a spread. I want to get 40%. So, but as we look and watch, the markets, obviously, you can see they haven't moved very much, and the 2 trades we made were fine, but they weren't very profitable. They weren't like unbelievable. Like maybe we can go to Starbucks, okay. And again, this has been the condition. There's nothing I can do about that. Okay, we can only watch and be prepared if something does show up. But unfortunately, for now, you don't really have much. And again, I'd love to have it. I'd love to have. I'd like to trade here. Normally, I trade, in normal conditions, I'll trade 1,500 to 5,000 contracts in the futures market. Today, so far, 91. Think about that. Okay. So again, we're dealing in a condition of a market that is just very hard to trade. Okay. Look at the lack of action in pretty much all the markets. And here, again, I don't have a reason to sell other than it's overbought, but I'm not looking to put myself at risk unless I have a good reason and a big belief that it's going to be very profitable. I don't like taking short profits. Okay. Again, obviously sometimes you have to, but I don't like to be in that position. Okay? I want bigger profits and to take me out and let me deal in these markets. Okay. And we're not getting that opportunity right now. And it's been a while. I get it. Okay. And I hate to keep telling you the same thing all the time, but hopefully you're learning that it's okay not to be involved sometimes and use selling premium, doing some other things to create opportunities. But we should be making the bulk of our money in active trading. Okay. And unfortunately, we haven't had the opportunity to do so. Now, maybe, I don't think you're going to get anything here in crude. I don't think we're going to get another trade. I think we're probably pretty much done, but we'll stick around and see for the next minute or so. But again, I wish there was more. I wish I could give you more, but hopefully you're learning the discipline to not trade when the markets are not conducive to what you're looking for. Okay. That's a very important thing that many traders never get. They think they have to be active. And of course, I'll be happy to teach you how to lose $5,000 in the $1,000 range anytime you'd like. But it's not what we try to do. Okay. So sorry, guys. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the open. And remember, every day I do a Market 120, a little preview of the markets early in the morning. And until Tuesday, have a great weekend, everybody. I'll see you later.
You know how the financial world goes. Here comes the buzzkill. Please make sure to take some time to read this boring disclaimer. We will owe you one.